Hi, Mandy.
Hi.
We're talking about renewables and mining. So, before Indaba, renewables are on everybody's lips. What is your outlook for renewable energy in 2026?
So, increasingly, mines are looking at energy as a strategic asset. So much like a decent mineral body and water supply, mines are looking at energy as something that they need to have a continuous and steady supply of. These are energy intensive operations that require 24/7 power. So, an increased shift to renewables is predicted.
Yeah, and that's throughout for all sort of mines across Africa, or is it just?
Very much so. It's a trend that we're seeing across Africa. There are lots of mines at the moment that are making the transition or at least augmenting their power supply with renewables. There are examples in Zambia. First Quantum Minerals are wheeling power from the Chisimba PV plant. Yeah. In South Africa, there are a number of mines that are doing similar things. Richards Bay Minerals is wheeling power from the Overberg WEF wind energy facility. And then you've got other companies like DRD that are looking to augment their supply by developing their own renewable projects, and then selling them off with power supply agreements in place.
Okay. Do you find it's mostly wind power, or do they focus on solar, or is it a combination of? Yeah.
Increasingly, it's a combination and hybrid approaches, because there's also a large turn to incorporating battery storage into the renewable solutions to help steady the supply across times when obviously the sun's not shining or the wind's not blowing.
Yeah, and yeah. So which are the main in Namibia, maybe for instance? Which are the main projects that you guys are looking at, or which countries would you say are there in Africa?
So from an expansion into renewables, there's a huge push in South Africa. In Namibia as well, there's a lot of drive in expanding into renewables. It's not just in the mining industry as well, it's a general push. Yeah. And then as I mentioned, Zambia is another one where there's a distinct push to rely on renewable energy. And it's an obvious issue where a lot of African countries are facing things like our version of load shedding. So augmenting supply with renewables is a reasonable choice for these mines that need continuous power.
Yeah, and their regulations sort of, do they make it easy for mines to sort of get onto renewables in these countries?
In most, and the three that I've mentioned, there are incentives in place that are trying to encourage mines to make the transition, but it's not just a governmental push. It's mining companies as private entities that have recognized the need to do this. And what's useful is when there is surplus power, a lot of these entities can then push energy back into the grid, which can be credited to their accounts, but also help stabilize national grids across the country. So it's a benefit for everyone.
Okay, cool. Thank you.